Greetings and welcome to the Training Grounds, Ballin on a Budget. Today we're going to be talking about the murderous mistress of evasion, Mirsa. This is a 3-star light thief and is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to Guild Wars, RTA, and Arena. Do not overlook this character. I see a lot of people out there who will pull her, have no idea, and then complain that they got her. She is an OP. She's sleeper OP. But first off, let's take a look at her stats, and then we'll go into who to team her with, how to build her, as well as what artifacts to use. Now, first up, I want you to note that she does have 885 attack. Now, the threshold at which flat attack main stat right side is better than percent attack is 834, meaning that this is almost at that point. So running flat main right side gear is actually just a marginal decrease. So if you have something that, let's say, is main stat attack and has any sort of percent attack substat, you are already at a better place than if you had no percent attack on the bottom. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you can take some of those pieces of gear that might have percent or might have flat attack mains and actually use them. So that is something very good to note here. The other thing too is she does have 120 speed, which, while is not the absolute speediest, because obviously that's K-Round at 129, does allow her to be very quick, and that's actually very good because her numbers and her damage does stack it scales according to her speed. So that is very good. She also gets increased critical hit chance through her awakenings, as well as some effectiveness to apply some of the debuffs that she has on some of her abilities. Now, taking a look at her abilities, her S1 double edge attacks with the dual wield swords with 35% chance to decrease speed for 2 turns. Damage increases proportional to the caster's speed. Now you can increase that up to 50%, and this is actually really good at trying to lock down maybe a speedier unit. It allows for, when you're lapping slower units, to decrease their speed even further and just continuously lap them. This is a pretty good skill. I would personally save this until later after you get her S2 and her S3 leveled up, but seeing as you don't require Mologoras for her, this unit is a very easy to skill up unit. Now, her second skill is probably one of her most notable skills, and this is just a passive that increases her evasion by 35%, and after successfully evading, decreases her cooldown of her S3, as well as increasing her speed for 2 turns. So you're going to be getting more S3s, you're going to be getting increased speed, which is going to make you even faster and do more damage. Now, you can get this up to 50%, and this is an absolute priority skill right here. As soon as you start to build her, this is the one thing that you are going to want to level up first, as this is going to be her signature skill. Now, her S3 raid ambushes the target, silencing them for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's speed. This increases just specifically on damage. This is also her soul burn, and when you soul burn this skill, it gets absolutely nutty. The amount of damage that this does is actually, let me take a look at the modifier real quick over here. I have it on my piece of paper. I believe it's you know what, actually I don't have it right now, but trust me, it's really high. I have one-shot easily ML Kens, Champ Zeratos, pretty much any semi-squishy, moderately squishy dark unit. If you soul burn S3, you are going to absolutely wreck them. Not only that, but it doesn't cost that much, and you are going to be getting your S3 on the regular. You can also use this to silence key targets for 2 turns. This is a very, very useful skill. I would level this up second as after your passive, and then go with your S1. Now we are going to take a look at some of the artifacts, and then I'm going to take a look at some of the builds and the characters that you will want to run with her. So first up is going to be Wind Rider. Now this is one that I don't see a lot of people use on her, but you can use this if you have it available. What's better than evading? Well, being unable to be targeted. So if you are going to be taking out squishy units, this is going to cast stealth on you for 1 turn, and it's also going to increase the attack of your next attack by 60% when you have this maxed out, as long as you defeated an enemy. So this allows for a follow-up to just absolutely hammer. So let's say you can kill something with your S1, you kill it, you get stealth, your next S3 is going to be hitting exponentially harder. This is a very niche artifact, and like I said, I don't see too many people using it. Elia's knife, sorry. This one is actually pretty good too, because this max penetrates defense by 20%. So this will allow you to penetrate some of that defense and take down some of your more tanky units. This is really good. It's also a 4-star, which is a lot easier to get maxed out and level up than, let's say, 5 stars like R and L. So this is going to give you a 20% chance to be granted an extra turn at the end of the turn. It can only be activated once per turn. So this is going to be really good for turn cycling if you can get that, as she's going to be fast. You are going to be getting a lot more turns. This allows you to just get those extra turns, continuously attack, get the cooldown on your S3 down a little bit faster. Really good, but again, this one's kind of niche. It is 20%, and outside of the 20%, it really doesn't do anything for you the rest of the time. Now, this is one that you're going to see a lot of people suggest, and that's Moonlight Dreamblade, because this increases her evasion by 20%. That would put her, if you have her passive up at a static 70% evasion all the time. The other thing too is after you do evade, which chances are you are going to be granted increased attack for 1 turn, meaning that you are going to be hitting harder. You're going to be getting the speed increase from the passive itself, so you are going to be hitting a lot harder when you follow up. 70% of dodge evasion is pretty amazing, and that's one of the things that makes her just really, really a huge threat. Personally, I use Violet's Talisman, and the reason why is because I build my Mirsa in order to make sure that she's around for multiple turns. Now, some people will say Moonlight Dreamblade is better or a damaging artifact is better if you are looking at your thief unit only sticking around for 1 turn. But one of the big draws to Mirsa is that she has that survivability of being able to evade. And as such, you are theoretically going to get multiple turns out of her. And if you do get multiple turns out of her, Violet's Talisman is going to be a better payoff in the long run, because if you do have an attack buffer on your team, the attack that you get from Violet's Talisman will stack on top of the attack that you get from the attack buff. Not only that, but when you get 3 turns in, you are sitting at 80% evasion. That is amazing right there in itself. And like I said, chances are you are going to get 3 turns out of Mirsa, as that's kind of what she is built to do. Now, this next one is very niche, and you don't typically see people use this. A lot of people don't even know what this is, and that's Shepherds of Chaos. Now, this is a very weird artifact to use on her. However, as your health decreases, your evasion and defense can increase up to 40%. Now, this by itself will theoretically give you 90% evasion when this is maxed out. It'll also help you by increasing your defense, which is already pretty low considering that she is a thief and she is going to be very squishy. So as she gets lower, this is going to just increase her evasion and increase her defense by quite a bit. And actually, I have ran this previously with a lifesteal sustain build, and as you get lower, you get more evasion, you get more defense, allowing you to get more turns to get the lifesteal on. It was actually pretty fun. But let's get into some of the builds, and I will show you my Mirsa first off, and then I will talk about some of the ways that you can build her. I have pretty much built her multiple ways in the past. I've tried lifesteal, I've tried counterattack, I've tried full speed, which is on what I am on currently, and this is the one that I kind of find works out the best for me, because I usually bring some sort of healer, defense, tank that can take a little bit of the pain off of her. Sustain Mirsa is a lot better in Guild Wars versus RTA or Arena, where you just want to do as much damage and havoc as humanly possible, and negating some of your attack in favor of survivability isn't always the most beneficial. Now, you will also see that she does have a speed imprint, which is really huge. You're going to want to keep it on that, because even though she does get quite a bit from, a decent amount from flat attack, you're not really going to want to worry about that, as the 8 speed to the rest of your team is probably going to be a much better overall boon. Now, this is how I have her built. I have her built for speed, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and attack. As you can see, my defense is pretty low and my health isn't very impressive either. However, because you are going to be getting missed quite a bit, that is not as big a detriment as it is to other thieves. Now, this one right here, like I said, I have built her for pretty much high speed violence, and as such, if she does get hit, it is going to be very, very detrimental. I have had 95% chance to miss in the past, and of course, every single time you are going to be crit by everything that moves. This is really good though, because you will start lapping slower units. Let's say there's a Dark Corvus on the other team. This allows you to continuously lap him, and even though you risk increasing his charges for his S3, if you can get a slow on him, if you can get the speed down, and you can just get a silence on him, you're going to be getting turn after turn after turn while he is just sitting there doing nothing. So this is a very good build. Like I have said in the past, I have ran lifesteal. It works a lot better in Guild Wars, where you have less units that can hit you, and it allows you to get some of that skill, get some of that life back that you may have lost through getting hit. The other nice thing too about Mirsa is that you're not going to get debuffed as much as normal, because you're going to get missed. So Basar isn't going to always be able to hit you. So there's that. It's really nice. Now, things to pair her up with, you are going to want to pair her up with an Assassin Cartuja, and let me go over to him real quick and I'll tell you why. So let's see. So Assassin Cartuja, we're going to put you here, and the reason why is you're going to want to stack this second passive skill. This increases evasion chance of all allies by 15%. So this is really, really good, because, well, that on top of it, even if you don't run Moonlight Dreamblade, even if you don't run Violet's Talisman, you're going to have a 65% chance to evade. Not only that, but literally everybody else on the team has evasion as well, and his combat readiness increases by 15% each time evading the enemy's attack. So each time he evades, he's going to get increased combat readiness, and everybody else is going to get evasion. And if you know anything, if you've ever had the frustration of missing your one-shot kill because they have Assassin Cartuja on the team, you know that it is very, very annoying. Now he's currently in a state of flux with his gear, but I will have him geared back up here shortly. You can also run her with Assassin Cartuja, and you can run her with Violet on an evasion team. Ignore the gear, he's literally just holding gear at the moment, because overall Assassin Cartuja is going to increase the amount of evasion that Violet has, as well as the amount of evasion that Mirsa has. So if you put a healer on that team, you're going to have a bunch of evaders. You're going to have sustain on that team. It's very good. Usually I'll run this with, like, let's say an A Momo or a DN, because you get the attack up, plus you get the crit down, just in case they don't evade. You're not going to get one shot by the crit, hopefully, and you get the attack up from everybody, plus you get the shields, all that other stuff. So that's a typical team that I will run with her. But overall, that is pretty much kind of the way that she runs. It's a very good combo. Missing in general is just huge in this game. It throws off a lot of the flow of your enemy team. Don't run counterattack. I tried running counterattack for a little bit. Not as good as I thought it would be, but it was kind of fun to watch. And so maybe in the future, if I get different gear, I will try it. But there you go, guys. That is Mirsa, the 3-star thief. And personally, I think that if you do pull her, she is a very, very good investment. As always, with like 3 stars, you don't have to use Molagoras in order to skill them up. So you can plus 15 them very, very fast, and it just makes a world of difference. She is sleeper OP, and I definitely love using her. I use her regularly in RTA. You will see people using her in top tier arena. You will see quite a bit of this. Same with other 3-star units that we will be covering in the Ballin on a Budget series. So as always, if you guys did like this video and you haven't yet, think about subscribing, hitting this bell notification, sharing this out to people who might be like, man, you know what? Every 3-star in the game sucks. That's not true. These are some top tier units right here. But I will catch you guys on the next training grounds. Have a good day. Take it easy, homies. Peace.
Cracky.